My name is Rachel Carter. I'm 32 years old, and a few months ago, my boyfriend informed me I wasn't mother material over lukewarm takeout noodles. He didn't even say it like an insult. That almost made it worse. It was just data to him. A risk assessment. A line item in his long-term fertility strategy. We were at my kitchen table on a random Tuesday night, the kind of night that usually dissolves into Netflix and sweatpants. White cartons of Chinese food sweated little grease circles onto the wood. The overhead light hummed softly. "Okay," he said, like he was announcing a work promotion. "So, I'm freezing my sperm next month." I looked up from my lo mein. "I'm sorry, what?" Landon, my boyfriend of 4 years, didn't look remotely nervous. He speared a piece of broccoli, shrugged. "I already booked the clinic," he continued. "It's a comprehensive fertility package, banked for 10 years, genetic screening, storage, the whole thing." I blinked. "That's a big step. We should probably talk about—" "Here's the thing," he cut me off. He always did that, I realized later. Interrupted right at the moment my feelings tried to leave my mouth. "I've been thinking a lot," he said, "and I'm just not sure you're mother material, Rach. Like, you're great as a girlfriend. Amazing, even. But kids, that's permanent. I can't risk my future fertility waiting around to see if you'll ever be ready for that kind of responsibility." The words didn't land all at once. They floated there, hanging over the table like steam. Mother material. Risk. Waiting. I heard myself ask calmly, "Excuse me?" He kept going, oblivious to the way my spine had gone cold. "I'm 29, he said. "Clock's ticking biologically. The clinic said it's ideal to freeze now, while everything's top quality. It's $7,800. But we can just put it on the credit card you added me to last year. Consider it an investment in my future." My credit card. For sperm he planned to use, maybe, with some hypothetical future woman, because I wasn't good enough. I felt something in me tilt, like a picture frame knocked crooked on the wall. "Wow," I said softly. He misread my tone as agreement. Of course he did. "Yeah, it's a lot of money up front," he rushed on. "But in the long run, it's smart planning. You always say I should think ahead. This is me thinking ahead." I set my chopsticks down carefully. "Makes sense." "Keep your voice level, Rachel. Don't let him see you flinch." He blinked at me, surprised. "You're not mad?" "Why would I be mad?" I asked, lips stretching into what might have passed for a smile. "Your body, your choice. Can't argue with biology." He exhaled, visibly relieved. Actually smiled at me like I'd just passed an exam. "Oh my God, thank you," he said. "I was worried you'd, make this a thing. You're the best." He went back to his phone, thumb flying, as he texted his sister about the clinic, about how supportive I was being. I could see his screen from where I sat. "She's being so cool about it," he typed. "Told you she'd understand." "Cool about it, right." I stared down at my General Tso's chicken. It had gone cold. 4 years together. We'd moved in 8 months ago into a 2-bedroom apartment I'd found. I paid the deposit, the first month's rent, and now covered about 70% of everything because he was building his business. His business was an online collectibles store that brought in maybe $300 a month on a good month. The utilities were all in my name. Internet in my name. The second bedroom I'd turned into a home office before he slowly colonized it with plastic bins of inventory. Little mountains of other people's childhood stacked against the wall. Not mother material. My phone was on the chair beside me. I slid my hand down casually, like I was checking a notification, and opened a browser. Tubal ligation near me. The search results loaded fast. OBGYN clinics, outpatient surgery centers, a few articles about regretting permanent choices. My thumb moved almost independently of my brain. One clinic had 5-star reviews. "Respectful," one woman had written. "Didn't treat me like a child for knowing what I wanted." Online booking. Next available consultation. Thursday, 2 days away, 2:45 p.m. Consultation only. Nothing permanent. Just a conversation. That's what I told myself as I clicked book appointment. A confirmation text buzzed my phone. Thursday, 2:45 p.m. Sterilization consultation. "Who are you texting?" Landon asked. "Work thing," I said easily. "Scheduling a meeting." He nodded, already halfway back in the glow of his phone. He started typing again. "He's being so supportive," he wrote to his sister. Knew he would be. He. I stared at that pronoun on the screen and felt an absurd urge to laugh. Even his autocorrect refused to see me clearly. Later that night, Landon fell asleep on the couch halfway through some reality show about couples screaming at each other in rented houses. His head tipped back, mouth open, soft snores rattling in his chest. I sat alone in what used to be my office and was now half storage unit, the glow from my laptop painting the packed boxes in pale light. The consultation confirmation sat in my inbox. Not mother material. Fine. Message received. If I wasn't good enough to have kids with, why keep the door cracked open just in case? 2 days later, I told him I had a client meeting downtown. I put on black slacks, a blazer, and the neutral face women wear when they're about to do something men will call dramatic later. The clinic was 20 minutes away. The waiting room smelled like antiseptic and lavender. Dr. Reynolds was maybe 50, with kind eyes and the tired patience of someone who'd had this conversation too many times. So, he said, scrolling through my intake form, you're 32, no children, and you're seeking permanent sterilization, bilateral salpingectomy. That's the plan, I said. He glanced up. Most of my patients for this procedure are a little older, but not always. Can you tell me why you want this? I could have given him a TED talk. Climate anxiety, my career, how I'd never once, not even as a kid, pictured myself with a baby on my hip. Instead, I gave him the short, ugly version. My boyfriend told me he's freezing his sperm, I said, because he's not sure I'm mother material. He plans to charge the $7,800 to my credit card. If I'm not good enough to be a mother, I don't see the point in keeping a door open he's already closed. Dr. Reynolds' eyebrows went up. He didn't rush to fill the silence. That's a lot to hear from a partner, he said carefully. It was, I agreed. And you're certain this is what you want? He pressed. Not just what you want in reaction to him? I thought about it. Not just about Landon, but about every time someone had told me, you'll change your mind, or you'll feel different when it's your own baby, or you're so good with your nieces, you'd be such a great mom. I've never wanted kids, I said finally. I kept telling myself I'd figure it out later. He just forced me to look at the truth faster, and the truth is I don't want to be a mother, to his kids or anyone's. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay, he said. My job is to make sure you understand the permanence and the risks. Your job is to know your own mind. From what you've said, you do. He walked me through the procedure, the anesthesia, the recovery time, clinical words that somehow felt gentler than not mother material. At the end of the day, he said, this is about your autonomy. One logistical note, you'll need someone to drive you home afterward. You won't be allowed to leave alone. I'll figure it out, I said. We'll also call you on Monday to confirm your surgery time, he added, typing something into the computer. Is this the best number for you? He read out my cell, the one Landon and I shared a group chat on, the one that sat on our kitchen counter most mornings while coffee brewed. Yes, I said, a small chill skimming down my neck. That's fine. Foreshadowing is funny in real life. You rarely recognize it until later. I drove home through late afternoon traffic, fingers drumming the steering wheel. When I walked into the apartment, Landon was on the couch with his laptop. How was your meeting? He asked, making air quotes. Productive, I said. We covered everything we needed to. He squinted at me, like he could see there was a riddle he wasn't solving. Then he shrugged and went back to editing photos for his online store. On Monday morning, at 11 o'clock a.m., I was in the kitchen making coffee. Landon was in the bedroom, shower running, music playing faintly through the door. My phone vibrated on the counter. Unknown number. Hello? I answered, hitting speaker so I could keep pouring. Hi, a cheerful voice said. This is Maria calling from the Women's Surgical Center. We're just confirming your tubal ligation for this Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. Are you still planning to proceed with the sterilization procedure? The bathroom door opened. Landon stepped out into the hallway in his robe, hair wet, and stopped dead when he heard the words tubal ligation echo from my speaker. I looked up, coffee mug halfway to my lips, and met his eyes across the kitchen. Yes, I said, my voice steady. I'll be there. And that was the moment everything stopped being theoretical. Landon's face went from curious to horrified in about half a second. Sterilization procedure, he repeated, his voice cracking on the second word. On the phone, Maria sounded cheerful and oblivious. Yes, Tubal ligation. We have you down for Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. I just need to confirm you'll be attending. Landon strode into the kitchen, water dripping from his hair onto the tile. He stared at the phone like it had just insulted him personally. I didn't look away from his eyes. Yes, I said again. I'll be there. Perfect, Maria said. We'll see you Wednesday, Ms. Carter. Please remember you'll need someone to drive you home. I remember, I replied. Thank you. I ended the call. For a heartbeat, the only sound was the faint drip of water from Landon's hair hitting the floor. "What the hell was that?" he finally demanded. "Medical appointment," I said, setting my mug down. "A tubal ligation?" His voice shot up half an octave. "Are you insane?" "No," I said. "I'm being practical, like you." His mouth opened and closed. "That is not the same thing." "Why not?" I asked mildly. "You're preserving your fertility. I'm eliminating mine. Both are choices about our own bodies, right? Or does that logic only apply when you're the one making the decision?" "You're doing this to punish me," he snapped. "This is vindictive." "I'm doing this because you made it very clear I'm not in your long-term plans," I said. "If I'm not mother material, there's no reason for my body to stay on hold in case you change your mind." His face flushed red. "You're twisting my words." "Your exact words," I said calmly, were, "I'm just not sure you're mother material. I can't risk my fertility waiting around to see if you'll ever be ready." He flinched. Just a little. I was being practical. "So am I." He paced the length of the kitchen like a caged animal. "You can't just decide something like this without talking to me," he said. I stared at him. "You decided to freeze your sperm and charge it to my credit card without talking to me." "That's different." "How?" I asked. "Because," he started, then stopped, jaw working. "Because my choice doesn't affect you permanently." I laughed once, sharp. "You're going to use my money to pay for a procedure that guarantees you can have kids with someone else. You told me to my face I'm not good enough to be their mother, and you think that doesn't affect me?" He rubbed his temples like I was giving him a headache. "We need to talk about this." "We are talking about it." "Not like this," he snapped. "You're being emotional." "You told me I'm not mother material over takeout," I said. "You didn't seem very worried about my emotions then." He grabbed his phone and keys off the counter. "I'm going to my mom's," he announced. "When you're ready to have an adult conversation, call me and cancel that surgery." He waited like I was supposed to protest, to chase him. I took a sip of coffee instead. "Drive safe," I said. His eyes narrowed. He slammed the door so hard, the frames on the wall rattled. He texted me 5 minutes later. "Landon, you're seriously not going through with this, right? Landon, answer me." I set the phone face down on the table. Let him spiral without me for once. By that evening, the group pressure machine kicked on. His mom called first. "Rachel," she said, not bothering with hello. "What is this I'm hearing about you having surgery to destroy your fertility?" "I'm having a procedure," I said. "My body, my choice. Isn't that the line?" "Don't you dare throw that back at me," she snapped. "Landon is devastated. He's freezing his sperm because he wants a family someday. You're punishing him." "He told me I'm not mother material and plans to use my credit card to pay for his future family with someone else," I said. "I'm just acting accordingly." "He didn't mean it like that," she insisted. "You're twisting things. You young people are so dramatic." "I'm 32, I said, not 16. And he meant it exactly like that. He said he didn't want to risk his fertility on me. Her breath hissed over the line. "If you go through with this, you'll regret it for the rest of your life." "Maybe," I said, "but I'll regret staying with someone who sees me as a fertility risk even more." She hung up on me. Saturday afternoon, as I pulled into my parking spot after grocery shopping, another car slid in front of mine, blocking the way. His sister Kayla climbed out. She crossed her arms over her chest, all righteous fury and athleisure. "Move your car," I said through my open window. "Not until you explain what the hell you're doing to my brother," she shot back. "I've explained it," I said. "He doesn't think I'm mother material. I don't want kids. I'm making sure my body reflects reality. Move the car." "He's heartbroken," she said. "You blindsided him. You're cutting off his future to make a point." I killed the engine and stepped out, the afternoon sun hot on my face. "He's freezing his sperm," I said. "In case he meets a woman he does consider mother material. That's his future. I'm not in it. I'm just adjusting my own accordingly." "That's not what he said." "Did he tell you he plans to put the $7,800 on my credit card without asking?" I asked. "Did he mention that part?" She opened her mouth, closed it. "He said you're being irrational." I smiled without humor. "Be honest, Kayla. If he met a woman tomorrow who wanted kids and he decided she was mother material, do you think he'd hesitate to leave me?" Her silence was answer enough. "Move your car," I said quietly, "or I'm calling a tow truck." She glared at me for a long moment, then huffed and got back in. She reversed out of my way with a squeal of tires. The night before the surgery, Landon texted again. "Landon, last chance. Cancel the appointment and we can work this out. Landon, if you go through with this, don't expect me to stick around." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, "Me. You told me you don't see me as the mother of your children. You already decided not to stick around. I'm just catching up." He didn't respond. Wednesday, I arrived at the surgical center at 3:30 p.m. The waiting room was quiet, soft music playing, the air conditioning too cold on my bare arms. I filled out paperwork with hands that only shook a little. A nurse led me back, gave me a gown, started an IV. My body felt distant, like I was watching all of this happen to someone else. She had just finished taping the tubing to my arm when another nurse stepped in, looking uneasy. "Ms. Carter," she said, "there's a situation in the waiting room." My stomach dropped. What kind of situation? "Your boyfriend and his mother are here," she said. "They're demanding to speak to the doctor. They're saying you're not mentally competent to consent to this procedure and that you're being coerced." I actually laughed. It burst out of me, sharp and incredulous. The nurse blinked, then her shoulders relaxed a little. "I'm sorry. We can have security escort them out if you'd like." "I'm 32, I said. "I drove myself here. I signed in my own consent forms. I answered all your questions. I'm not being coerced by anyone. They're just upset they can't control my body." She nodded, a flicker of solidarity in her eyes. "I'll let Dr. Reynolds know." I lay back, the paper crinkling under me, listening to the faint muffled sound of raised voices down the hall. Then, after a few minutes, silence. Dr. Reynolds came in, eyebrows slightly raised. "Well," he said, "that was interesting." "Let me guess," I said. "They tried to convince you I'm unfit to make decisions." "More or less," he said dryly. "Your boyfriend's mother insisted you were acting under emotional duress and that I was obligated to refuse the procedure. I explained that's not how bodily autonomy or medical consent works. She threatened to sue the clinic." "Of course she did," I muttered. He smiled faintly. "I told her she was welcome to speak with our legal department. Security escorted them out. Are you still comfortable proceeding?" I took a breath. "Listen to yourself, Rachel, not to their noise." "Yes," I said, "more than ever." "Then let's get started," he said. The procedure itself took about 20 minutes under twilight anesthesia. I drifted in and out, aware of pressure and motion, but not pain. At one point, I felt tears slide from the corners of my eyes into my hairline, not from fear, but from the strange, fierce relief of finally matching my life to the truth inside me. When I woke up in recovery, groggy and dry-mouthed, my friend Maya was sitting in the chair by the bed, scrolling her phone. "Hey, cyborg," she said softly when she noticed I was awake. "How do you feel?" "Like someone rearranged my insides," I croaked. "In a good way." She squeezed my hand. "You're a badass." On the drive home, the world felt sharper. Trees, billboards, the smudge of sunset. I cradled my abdomen with one hand, as if I could protect the choice sitting there under the bandages. Maya helped me up the stairs, fussed over pillows, made sure my medications were within reach. "You sure you don't want me to stay?" she asked. "I'll be okay," I said. "Go home to your kids." She rolled her eyes affectionately. "Text me if you need anything. And if Landon shows up, call the cops before you call me." "Deal," I said. After she left, the apartment fell quiet. I eased myself onto the couch, grateful for every soft surface, every blanket. Pain throbbed dully in my lower belly, but under it was a strange, almost giddy calm. I must have dozed off because the next thing I knew, my front door was opening. I hadn't given Maya a key. Landon still had one. I pushed myself upright, vision swimming, as Landon, his mother, and Kayla filed into my living room like they owned the place. Landon's eyes flicked to the blanket pulled over my abdomen, his jaw clenched. "How did you get in?" I asked, voice hoarse. Landon held up a key. "I still live here." "Not anymore," I said. "You left, remember? You moved out to your mom's until I came to my senses. I haven't had a roommate since." His mother stood, arms folded, mouth pinched. "We need to talk about what you just did," she announced. "I just had surgery," and I said, "What I need is rest. You need to leave." Kayla scoffed. "You can't kick us out. He lives here. This is his home." "He does not live here," I said, each word sharp and clear. "His name is not on the lease. The bills aren't in his name. He chose to move out. Right now, all three of you are trespassing." Landon's mom's eyes flashed. "You're being hysterical. You've made a permanent decision that affects our whole family." "Funny," I said. No one seemed worried about how his permanent sperm decision affected me. Tears welled instantly in Landon's eyes. "How can you be so cold? I love you." "No," I said quietly. "You love my apartment. You love my credit card. You love the idea of a future where your sperm is banked just in case a better candidate shows up. That's not love. That's having a backup plan with benefits." "Rachel, be reasonable," his mother snapped. "You'll regret this for the rest of your life." "Maybe," I said, "but I'd regret staying with someone who told me to my face I'm not mother material even more." Kayla took a step forward. "Or what? You'll call the cops on your own boyfriend? Yes, I said, pulling my phone from the couch cushion. Right now. You're all leaving, or the police will help you. They stared at me, waiting for me to back down. I dialed. That was the moment Landon finally seemed to understand something had shifted permanently, in a way no surgery could touch. He grabbed his mother's arm. Let's go, he muttered. This isn't over, she said, pointing a finger at me. You'll regret this. He's the best thing that ever happened to you. If that's true, I said, my life was pretty sad. They left in a storm of offended huffs and slammed doors. When the apartment finally fell silent again, I realized my hands were shaking. Pain throbbed through my abdomen in time with my pulse. From the hallway, my neighbor's door creaked open. Everything okay in there? Mr. Coleman asked, peeking his head out. Heard some yelling. I'm fine, I said, sinking back against the cushions. Just taking out the trash. He nodded slowly, like he understood more than he said. Good. Holler if you need anything. The door clicked shut. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the stitches inside my body and the fresh, invisible line I'd just drawn around my life. For the first time in years, the apartment was completely mine. The next morning, I woke up to the soft ache low in my abdomen and the faint buzzing of my phone on the nightstand. A steady stream of notifications glowed through the dim room. Texts. Dozens of them. Not from Landon. He'd learned I wasn't responding. These were from everyone else. His friends, his cousins, his coworkers, even a few mutual acquaintances I barely remembered meeting. I scrolled through them slowly, each message an accusation, a demand, a lecture. His best friend, Tyler, what is wrong with you? He's devastated. You cut off his chance at a family out of spite? His cousin, Lauren, girl, this is psychotic. Getting surgery to hurt him? You need help. Some guy I'd met once at a barbecue, he told us what you did. You should be ashamed. His mother, of course. You've broken him. I hope you're happy. I set the phone down and closed my eyes. Grief rose quietly, not for the relationship, but for the years I had spent trying to be understood by people who never saw me clearly. When I finally got up and shuffled into the kitchen, I found a new text waiting. My landlord. Hey, Rachel, your boyfriend came by the office asking for a spare key. Said he accidentally got locked out. Since he's not on the lease, we couldn't give him one. He got very upset. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I exhaled. Me. Thanks for letting me know. He moved out last week. Landlord. Understood. Don't worry. We won't issue any keys without your approval. I put the phone down again. The light coming through the blinds hit the counter at a strange angle, like the universe was trying to paint a spotlight on the mess of my life. At noon, a knock sounded at my door. Not a tap. A sharp, impatient pounding. I opened the door a crack. A delivery driver stood there with a clipboard and a certified mail envelope. Are you Rachel Carter? He asked. Yes. Sign here. I scribbled my name, and he handed me the envelope like it contained a bomb. Then he left. My stomach twisted. Inside was a letter from a law office. A law office, addressed from attorney Karen L. Shore. I sat at the till, opened it, and read. My boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend, was claiming illegal eviction, despite the fact he was never on the lease. Emotional distress from my retaliatory sterilization. Theft of household contributions. Apparently, the grocery items he bought sometimes were now considered assets. Demand for $7,800 reimbursement for the sperm freezing procedure he never paid for. Demands included, let him move back into my apartment. Pay him $7,800. Pay $5,000 in emotional damages. Pay his legal fees. I actually laughed. The sound came out wild and sharp like something breaking loose inside me. I called the one person who would get it. Maya. She picked up on the second ring. Please tell me you have good news, she said by way of greeting. I have something, I said. Does that count? Depends. Scale of 1 to 10. How messy? 13. Okay, shoot. I got a demand letter from Landon's lawyer. He has a lawyer? She sputtered. He thinks he does, I said, unfolding the letter. Apparently I illegally evicted him, caused extreme emotional distress, stole groceries, and owe him nearly $13,000. There was silence. Then Maya burst into hysterical laughter. Rachel, sweetheart, my God, this is art. It gets better, I said. His lawyer is threatening legal action if I don't comply. Text me a photo of the letter, she said between laughs. I have to see this. I sent it. She called back 10 seconds later. Okay, she said, wiping tears. I showed this to my husband. He's a corporate attorney, not family law, but he said, and this is a direct quote, "This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen." That tracks, I said. Rachel, he doesn't have a case, she said. He wasn't on the lease. Emotional distress isn't a freebie claim. And the $7,800? You can countersue for credit card fraud. I can? Oh, absolutely, she said. He used your card without permission. That's a clear violation. If he actually files something, we'll respond. But honestly, he's bluffing. So I ignore it? Yep, she said. If anything escalates, we'll draft a cease and desist. Until then, let him waste money on a lawyer who thinks he has a case. I ended the call feeling steadier, at least until my phone buzzed with a new notification. Facebook, you've been tagged in a post. My breath caught. I clicked, and there it was. A long, dramatic essay from Landon. Public, not friends only, not private. The highlights. Facing the hardest moment of my life. My partner of 4 years permanently sterilized herself to punish me. I only froze my sperm to prepare for our future family. She made a rash, emotionally abusive decision to destroy that future. I'm heartbroken, but speaking out because other men need to know the warning signs. He tagged me. He tagged mutual friends. He tagged my boss. My boss. The comments were pouring in. OMG, Landon, I'm so sorry. What a monster. She mutilated herself? Run, dude. You deserve better. Take legal action. I felt something cold and clean settle inside me. Finally, he'd crossed a line he couldn't slither back over. Before I could even think of how to respond, a new comment appeared. From my older brother, Daniel. 30 minutes after the post went up. Daniel, interesting narrative. Here are the actual facts. Attached were a screenshot of Landon's text. Not sure your mother material. The credit card statement showing the unauthorized $7,800 charge. A photo of the demand letter he sent me. A time-stamped message from Landon admitting he planned to use the frozen sperm with or without me. Daniel wrote, she didn't retaliate. She reacted to being told she was not good enough for his future. If you're going to publicly smear someone, at least tell the whole story. The comments shifted instantly. Wait, what? He charged her card? He told her she wasn't mother material? Bro, you ruined the relationship. This is embarrassing. You're the problem here, not her, Landon replied under Daniel's comment. You don't know everything. Daniel wrote, then clarify which part is false. Landon didn't answer. An hour later, he deleted the entire post. But screenshots had already circulated. People had already shared them. My phone buzzed again. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. You're ruining my life. Take down those screenshots or I'm going to the police. Me, for what? Posting factual information you made public? Unknown. You're harassing me. Me. I haven't posted anything. Other people shared publicly available information. Don't threaten me with police when you committed credit card fraud. He called immediately. I didn't answer. Then his mother called. This time I picked up. You need to stop this, she shrieked. Now. I haven't done anything, I said calmly. Your son posted lies. Other people posted the truth. You're destroying his reputation. He destroyed his own. He's getting threats. Then report them, I said. I still haven't posted a single thing. You put those screenshots out there. No, I said. I sent them to 2 friends privately. Your son posted publicly. That's on him. Her breathing grew ragged. I'll sue you. Add it to his list, I said. But do me a favor. Hire a better lawyer. I hung up. Saturday morning, another call came. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. A man's voice tight with anger. Is this Rachel? Yes. This is Landon's father. You're going to take everything down, apologize publicly, and pay for his fertility costs. Today. I took a slow breath. Or, I asked. Or I'm coming to your apartment, he growled. Consider that a promise. Great, I said. This call is being recorded. It wasn't, but he didn't know that. Silence. You're a coward, he spat. I'm a woman who got tired of being disrespected, I said. If you show up here, I will call the police. He hung up. I did call the non-emergency police line. I gave them his name, the threat, the context. They told me to dial 911 if he showed up. He never did. Sunday, I received another call. This one from a receptionist. Hi, this is Attorney Larson's office. We represent... I know who you represent, I said. What do you want? My client wants to negotiate a settlement. No. If you'd let me finish. Your client has no case, I said. He's not on my lease. He committed credit card fraud. His emotional distress is self-inflicted. If he files anything, I will countersue for the $7,800 plus legal fees. A long silence. Finally, I'll speak with my client. You do that, I said. He never called back. That night, Landon sent me one final text. I hope you're happy. You've ruined everything. I'm leaving town because of you. I hope you feel guilty for the rest of your life. I didn't respond. The next morning, Venmo lit up with a notification. Kayla had sent a request. $7,800 note, payment for emotional damages. I tapped decline and then block. It was almost too easy. The fallout was far from over, but for the first time in 4 years, I felt like I was standing on solid ground. Over the next week, the world went quiet in the way a forest does after a wildfire, everything charred, brittle, stripped of illusion. But just because the noise faded didn't mean the fallout was done. Not even close. About 10 days after the Venmo debacle, I got a message request on Facebook from a stranger, a man. Profile picture, him smiling with his arm around Landon. My stomach sank. Oh no, not this. I opened the message. New guy. Hey, sorry to bother you. My name's Evan. I know this is weird, but I'm seeing your ex. He told me you were abusive and controlling. Something doesn't feel right. He keeps asking to borrow money and won't explain why. Then I saw screenshots someone shared from your brother. Is any of that real? I stared at the screen. He had no idea he was talking to the woman Landon tried to turn into a cautionary tale. No idea he was messaging the ghost of his future if he didn't run now. I typed back, me. Everything in those screenshots is real. Would you like the originals? He responded instantly. New guy, yes, please. So I sent them. And the text where Landon told me I wasn't mother material. The credit card statement with the unauthorized $7,800 charge. Photos of the demand letter. A timeline of events. Calm, factual, no embellishments. The screenshot of him publicly smearing me on Facebook. It took 3 minutes before he replied. New guy. Holy. Thank you for telling me. I'm blocking him. I'm so sorry you went through that. 10 seconds later, another message came. New guy. FYI. He told me he isn't freezing sperm anymore because he found the right woman. He said we were already talking about kids. We've been dating 3 weeks. I leaned back in my chair. Kids. 3 weeks in. Of course he was. Of course he went from calling me not mother material to love bombing another woman, and now another man, into future parenthood. Except this wasn't a woman. This was a man, and Landon was rewriting the story for whoever he could latch onto. I typed, me. Be safe, and trust your instincts next time. He heart-reacted the message and disappeared from my inbox. One more person freed from the gravity of Landon's orbit. I should have felt triumphant. I mostly felt tired. A few days later, I met up with Maya for coffee. She slid into the booth across from me, studying my face like a doctor checking a patient's pulse. You look peaceful, she said, surprised. I feel peaceful, I admitted. Mostly. Mostly? I hesitated. The social media stuff, I said. It got under my skin more than I expected. She sipped her latte. It always does. Being misunderstood publicly hits a part of the brain that logic can't reach. I nodded slowly. Because that was it. Landon hadn't broken my heart. He'd tried to rewrite me. He'd tried to make me a villain in a story where he was the wounded hero. And I had lived with that long enough. Maya leaned forward. But the screenshots helped undo the damage, right? People know the truth. Most do, I said. Some still think I'm the villain. But honestly, if someone sees every receipt and still sides with him, they were never my people. She smiled. That's growth. I smiled too. It felt like growth. A week after that, a text came in from an unknown number. Not Landon, not his mother, not a cousin, not a friend. His mother's best friend. Unknown. I heard what happened. Have you considered that maybe you two just had a misunderstanding? He's a good man. Your surgery was rash. You're older now, Rachel. You don't have forever to rethink this. I stared at the message. Older now. Rash. Misunderstanding. My fertility presented like a weather forecast. I blocked the number. There was nothing left to say. Then came the final twist, one I truly hadn't expected. A message on Facebook from his mother again. Her profile picture was a huddle of grandkids that weren't hers yet. Nieces and nephews she liked to pretend were placeholders. Her message read, I know things ended badly, but have you considered trying to work things out? Landon has grown a lot. He regrets things. You two were good together. Think about it. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I screenshot it. Sent it to Daniel. He replied, the audacity. I blocked her too. And with that, the last remaining door between me and that old life finally clicked shut. 6 weeks after my surgery, I had my follow-up appointment with Dr. Reynolds. He checked the incisions, reviewed the ultrasound, and declared me fully healed. Any regrets? He asked lightly as he typed notes into the chart. I thought about it. About the screaming accusations on Facebook. About his family pushing into my home. About the demand letter. about being told I wasn't mother material, about everyone trying to force my body to stay open for a future that wasn't mine, about the peace I'd felt waking up alone. None, I said, and I meant it. You made an informed decision, he said. That's all that matters. When I left the clinic, the sun hit my face like a warm hand. I wasn't lighter in a metaphorical sense. I was lighter in a physical one, like someone had cut away a weight I didn't realize I was carrying. On the way home, I stopped by the local shelter. I'd been thinking about it for weeks. That's where I met Hugo, a 10-year-old hound mix with sleepy eyes and a tail that wagged in slow-motion devotion. He leaned into my hand like he'd known me forever. I adopted him on the spot. Now he follows me from room to room like a small, warm shadow. He snores louder than Landon ever did, and somehow it's the most comforting sound in the world. My new apartment is a one-bedroom downtown, sunlight-filled, quiet, and completely mine. No extra key floating around. No unauthorized charges on my card. No inventory bins creeping into my workspace. No man deciding whether I qualify as future mother material. Just me. My lease, my space, my future. My dog. My peace. I've started dating again. Carefully, kindly, honestly. I'm upfront from the very first conversation. I'm child-free, permanently, non-negotiable. Some men unmatch immediately. I don't take it personally. But one man didn't unmatch. Elias, a 35-year-old graphic designer with kind eyes and a quiet sense of humor. He asked thoughtful questions, not defensive ones. He didn't treat my decision like a debate topic or a flaw. He treated it like a fact. We've gone on 4 dates. We're taking it slow. Slow feels good. Slow feels like something real. Sometimes people ask me if what I did to reclaim my life was revenge. And I tell them the honest truth. It wasn't revenge. It was alignment. He said I wasn't mother material, so I stopped being available for motherhood. He used my credit card without consent, so I disputed the charge. He tried to smear me online. My brother posted the truth. He threatened lawsuits. I didn't flinch. He expected me to be his placeholder. I walked away. Revenge implies malice. This was clarity. Finally, painfully, beautifully, clarity. Sometimes the best revenge is refusing to be treated like garbage. Sometimes the best ending isn't a dramatic speech or a cinematic confrontation. Sometimes the best ending is simply moving on. Moving forward. Moving into a life that fits you. The last time I heard Landon's name was 2 weeks ago, from one of Daniel's co-workers who still lives in Landon's hometown. Apparently he's back living with his parents. Still hasn't refunded the sperm freezing deposit. Still trying to date women who want kids right away. Still getting unmatched the moment he tries to rush a future with someone else's money. It's almost poetic. Trash doesn't need to be taken out. Sometimes it walks itself to the curb. And me? I'm taking Hugo for a walk. The evening sky is pink and soft. And tomorrow I have a date with a man who respects me, because I finally respected myself.